Yo, Joburg, we are
Whoa.
back in business. Hello,
Berg.
Paul.
Hello, Steven. Yo, it's close today.
Unfortunately, it's
Yeah.
yes. Welcome back to the podcast, Paul. You have power, but we don't have a Rob. Oh my
Rob.
goodness! It seems like this podcast is now a two-hander. It's Steve in the driving seat as usual, boring, and then a rotation of either Paul or Rob. But we're here. We wouldn't want to skip a week, that's for sure, if it can be avoided. We're back to talk about the return of the O-ring construction as a thing. Now, for some of us, that never left. But for those of us who only ever buy readily available retail toys, it's been gone for some time. And this new retro wave has got some absolute winners, let's say,
Bangers.
bangers that we
Yeah.
are wanting to shout out on this show. Paul and I, in a rare return to form, will be doing a top 5 list of our favorite forthcoming O-ring figures and why we're excited about them. What do they bring that is potentially something we've never gotten before? I think that's the most exciting thing about these, because GI Joe kind of slipped into a comfortable, tried and true method, perhaps. Whereas now, with the fans now in control, driving these projects, we're going to get stuff that we never got before.
Yeah,
It's a
and
nice crossroads of old and new.
yeah, and also like you're saying, like stuff that, might not have been expected, that was maybe just very obvious, but was never done,
Oh
like
yeah,
by GI Joe. Like there's a lot of some of these designs, some of these offerings from these various groups. Some of them are pretty obvious, but they kind of what we need as toy players, you know,
toy players,
as
yeah,
toy
filling
players.
some
Yeah.
holes. Some of these are very much a retread of or an analog to other characters that we've gotten in the past. I imagine those won't be on our list just because it's more fun to talk about the fresh stuff, the new stuff. Yeah. Will Hasbro make the list? Is the
Ooh.
true question. Or are we just going to be throwing love at the independents? I don't know. I don't know Paul's list. He doesn't know mine. This is going to be interesting. But
And
first, Paul, you've missed a
yeah.
week, man. Catch us up. How's life and stuff?
Ooh, yeah, no, life is crazy.
Hmm.
Okay, so I don't want to like labor on about load shedding, but it is a thing and it is compounding stuff a little bit, so it's making making work-life balance a little bit more difficult because we only have so many hours in the day to get work done, and there's been some crazy deadlines, so not a lot of sleep has been happening in my life. But I have been hitting those deadlines, so I'm very happy about that. And then onto the cool stuff. I got to shoot some footage. Finally, got to shoot the rest of my international backyard footage for Cobra Convergence, which makes me super super happy. And I'm going to be jumping onto the edit for that after the recording of this podcast because it needs to be done and pretty quickly. I'm very happy with that. It was actually Celia came out with me on our first play motion adventure together, so that was really really cool. Because all the other times, the last time when I wanted to shoot, we couldn't, but at least we did some practice and stuff like that, and didn't really like the footage I got. So yeah, got to do it again today properly, and now we're happy with the footage, and worked out some new tricks, stuff that I'm sure is like old hat for you, Steve. I don't want to mention them on the air because I like to keep those things like, we can save that all for a play motion episode.
Well, I was
So
just
there was
wondering what you were thinking, because you sent me a voice note with all these like tricks and tips, and
yeah, but I
I've never
wasn't.
been I've never been more mansplained in my life. It's like,
But the whole
yeah,
thing is
Paul.
you completely misunderstood that because I wasn't telling you this stuff. I was basically sending you this to get like a thumbs up from you, like yes, that's actually a good way of doing it, you know.
Yes.
So I'm like,
Just
this is
just to
how I want
clear
to
up the
do it.
vagaries, Paul was showing me that he was planning to shoot aircraft by tilting the camera and shooting them at a very low angle, sort of worm's eye view, to cut out the neighborhood clutter of power lines and trees and other houses. And I just said, yeah, you can claim a small piece of sky by doing that, but the best way to get a clean horizon line is to get up high. So my question to you, Paul, did you find some elevation?
You know, we didn't. We did debate going through to Northcliffe. No. We did debate going through to Northcliffe Corner, and the reason, I mean, to Northcliffe Hill, but the reason we didn't do that is because there were other scenes I wanted to shoot at the park, and it just worked out better for us to shoot all of that in one location, just to save time and everything. Because Celia and I are both working on a work project thing at the moment, so it's kind of like we have to be like super effective with the time that we had. So we didn't want to be driving up and down everywhere. And I also didn't want to take the risk of Northcliffe Hill being super busy on a Saturday because
Oh,
it's Saturday.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
crowded.
my
So,
only day to shoot one of the like closing scenes of the Renegades was also on a hill around sunset. Like, and because of Kim's work schedule, she could only look after Elliot on the weekend. So when am I shooting this? Smack dab sunset on a Saturday afternoon. The amount of wedding parties I had to shoot around, astonishing.
wow.
They
I mean,
like my favorite
yeah.
spot was claimed. My second favorite spot was claimed. I had to like scramble up a hill, try and find a new spot to set up so that I could cut out the human traffic.
Madness, man. Madness.
Bloody
But yeah,
hell.
so
Get your wedding photo somewhere else, thanks.
we eventually got to the park. Well, we got to the park and we got to a very wide open space, which was great because we could shoot in such a way that we could eliminate the tree line completely. And then I learned one or two other new tricks to completely
Tree
eliminate the
line?
tree line. Yeah,
Oh, tree
'cause-
line. I thought you were saying
tree line.
the true line. Is this a
Yeah.
new term for a horizon?
No. No,
The
we could
true
just,
line.
and it was great because I had like that, like 3 o'clock, 3:30 sun angle of the sun, and then it was going into like afternoon. So we finished shooting at about 4:30, and yeah. So I had these so I got some nice colors and stuff going on with the sky and like the moodiness and whatever that's coming through. So I'm very happy with that. So that came through, and then also I've also just been like chipping a little bit off at some editing that needs to turn into actual episodes on GI Joburg. So that's been exciting. And then one other thing, and I've saved this for last because I know a lot of guys are going to be excited about this. There are 4 new GI Joburg music tracks that are going to be coming out with International Backyard. 2 of them have sort of previewed in a form in Renegades. But yeah, so we've got some hot new tracks to release, which I'd like to do after International Backyard is premiered, so that that'll be obviously for our Patreon supporters,
Hang on,
for our
Paul.
Workforce members.
I don't think we've actually conclusively introduced what International Backyard is on
Haven't
this
we?
episode.
Oh my word.
There might be some confusion. So basically, this is Cobra Month, the month of July. It is an initiative spearheaded by HCC 788, and it is called Cobra Convergence. Now, what we've elected to do on GI Joburg is our contribution on the 23rd, Saturday the 23rd of July, is do a convergence of our own. Invite our fellow PlayMotion contributors to basically collaborate on a epic film. I'd say it's shaping up to be feature length. It might be 90 minutes or more. So get strapped in for a good long watch on Saturday or whenever you're able to catch it, because it's multiple different converging styles, but telling one story, which is exciting to say the least. I mean, it's a beautiful hodgepodge.
As haphazard as all
it is. It is quite. But if you are really switched on, hopefully you can follow the through line and the story. And you might even be able to detect certain styles if you've been following our channel and the people that we've invited to do our special missions, which are PlayMotion adventures created by others. It's got an appeal. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I'm really enjoying the process. It's made me a very excited boy to be playing with you guys, but not playing with you guys. I mean, ultimately,
and that's
first prize would be if we were in the same space together. But
exactly
barring that, this is a way for us to achieve some measure of it.
Exactly, and that's because the whole international backyard thing was born from everybody being stuck at home during
Mm-hmm.
the pandemic,
Mm.
and of us being able to still enjoy playing in the same space even though we couldn't be there. So it's I'm glad that spirit comes through. It came through in Element X. It seems to be coming through in the new one, although admittedly I have not watched any of anybody's submissions in their entirety, mostly because I don't want to spoil anything. I just wanted to kind of like get a few like ideas on where things were going. I'm
Well,
dying to
you've
see
also
the
got a
full feature length.
watertight excuse, Paul. Like, I was thinking about the other day, like, if you're a 9 to 5er, the power cuts are disruptive, but it also means you're just taking extra smoke breaks.
Yeah,
Whereas a freelancer who only gets paid for what he produces, uh, you're basically living your life like you've got a new infant at home.
yeah,
Like when
that's
the
actually a
infant
good
sleeps,
comparison.
you
Yeah,
sleep. Like when
yeah,
the power is out for like 2.5 hour bursts, that's when you get your rest. And then when the lights come back, you're back at your station working. Doesn't matter what hour of the day it is. Like that is your schedule. You're like living power cut to power cut, which is hardcore.
it is.
So hats off to you, dude.
Shot, man. Yeah, but hopefully I can remedy that in the next 2 to 3 weeks with an inverter box. But I'm not going to go into that on the show.
I I
But
won't
yeah,
ask you if you've been catching any of the Cobra Convergence submissions as a result, because I'm pretty sure like your schedule doesn't really allow for much fun watching.
I
But
haven't. Yeah.
I'm gonna name drop a few, and maybe we'll actually discuss them. Obviously, HCC's been pushing it out like crazy. He did a Viper review, the classified Viper, both the regular flavor and the Python Patrol, which he got from that
Ooh.
Hasbro box. Yeah. So he's spearheading the whole thing, which is delightful. I mean, he's regular as clockwork, and also doing his live streams and whatnot. But I just finished listening to Audible Interludes contribution, and they're a podcast. If you don't know about them, look them up. They're terrific. Three guys, and they reviewed Cobrathon, the season 2 Sunbow episode, one that I'm particularly familiar with because aside from the GI Joe movie, like this was the only episode of the cartoon I had to hand. Like it was on a VHS tape that I just watched over and over and over again. So it is an episode that I'm perhaps unfairly familiar with. So hearing them rediscover this episode and their observations on it, I was like, yeah, I know that part. Yeah, okay, I know that part. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I know where they are now. Very cool to hear. So thank you for that, gents. Also listened to, of course, Joe and Joe's contribution, which was a Columbo-esque. Well, not
Oh,
Columbo-esque. It
I
was
love
Columbo.
those.
he did
I've
a
been seeing
he
the
did a radio
posters.
drama. He did a radio
No,
drama.
that's
He's
so
got a
cool. I want to catch
huge.
those.
Do it,
Yeah.
man. Well, it's a single episode. I think it's about
Yeah, because he's
just
got
under
the
50 minutes long.
Yeah, because he's got Columbo, and then he's got Jay and the Fat Man. Then he put a post. Somebody, I don't know if that's also him, but I saw it on his Facebook. He's got Lady J and the Fat Man, like Jake and the Fat Man, and then also that Columbo. And I'm
I'm
like,
not
I want to
familiar.
check
You're gonna
that.
have to explain the reference. Sorry, I'm not cool like you,
Oh, there's
dude.
a show called Jake and the Fat Man.
Oh, it's a
It's
detective show from the
yes, yeah,
90s. I think
yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
And I love it because you know when I was going on about Fisherman Bazooka, like to try and give him some props, I was like, yeah, like let's put him in like a 80s detective kind of cop show. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like that kind of show, but with Bazooka in his fisherman threads. Yeah.
I was
So,
delighted to hear some guest voices. Troy Smith was the voice of Mutt, who's playing Detective Columbo's nephew. But actually, I don't want to spoil much. You might just hear some very familiar voices, which is always an exciting Easter egg, if you want to call it that. The other shout outs that I'd like to give, of course, our very own Chaplin's Motorpod just did Serpentor's Air Chariot on his podcast. Terrific
oh,
stuff.
cool.
Made me pick up my very loose and floppy Serpentor and mess with him a bit, which I think isn't that the function of these talking heads? Like anytime I record a show, if someone's putting us on in the background to their like GI Joe playtime, that is mission accomplished. That is the best possible function that us yammering on could be. But yeah, Gary is extremely informative, brings a very close level of scrutiny to some much beloved toys, and it's always welcome because our observations will always like have these little quirks and differences, and my perception of a toy might differ to my buddies. So it's always great to hear things approached from fresh eyes. So there you go. Thank you, Gary. He's in the chats. Salute, brother.
Yeah, and just while we're looking at the chats, just want to say hello to everybody quickly. We got Matt Comstock, what's up, dude? Danny of our time. He said glad to be able to catch this. We glad to catch you. Shot, bud. Gaz, as always, welcome back. It's always good to see you, man. Ryan Sweeney's in the house. The Bob Squad's here. The chaplain's assistant, motorpod.
It's
I
late.
always say pool. It is, but it's just because like typography in my brain today.
I think I might have said pool too. Oh dear.
Yeah,
Sorry, Gary.
No, there's nothing wrong. It's just that I've been staring at magazine layout, so it's like a thing. Well, not magazine layout, but presentation layout. MC DJ ACDC, and of course GI Gary, who may or may not be.
He's
the
doubling
same
up.
as Chaplain's Assistant's Motorpod. So,
And
trying to
if
keep your
you'd like
mystery
to
there.
join us live on the show, just join our Patreon. We're cheap.
We are cheap. And
Link in the description below.
but dude, like you mentioned now, like having something on in the background while you're playing with your toys, and it was so great to just get out and play with my toys. Like today.
I was gonna ask, like, what is it
Yeah.
like actually shooting with your significant other? Is the family that plays together stays together, or is she like, Paul, never make me do this again?
No, okay, so I'll say this, and I hope she gets to listen to this episode because she's gonna laugh at me. So we did 2 new things this weekend, that are like new for us as a couple. The first thing is I've trained Celia on how to do layout, like DTP layout design and things like that for presentations and stuff. She's already got like a background in it, but I've been teaching her from a design point of view. And we got some work in together. So this is the first time her and I are working on the same project. And there were a few potholes in the beginning of this. A little bit of a shouty here and a shouty there, but it was fine. And then
I'm gonna prod you a little bit. What was the content of the shouting? It was like, don't put the Night Raven down like that.
no, dude, we didn't. No, I'm not even talking about the toys. This is the whole thing, right? This is the beauty of it. I wanted to create some contrast, and I'm just thankful that I have this contrast right now. So the work thing, she was like, don't tell me to do it like this. No. So I was like, oh god, okay. Anyway, but we figured that out. But when it came to the toys, totally cool. No worries. I was like, hey babe, I'm just gonna teach you how to fly a Sky Striker now, and how to fly a Night Raven now. And she's like, okay, cool. I'm like, yeah, put your hands here, do this. If I say roll to the right, you roll like that. If I say like this is what you do, pull up, pull down, invert, all these little like instructions, because I wanted her to understand. So we're kind of, practicing that lingo when I was on my way to go and take the kids for Kung Fu this morning. And then we went to go and shoot it, and we had no issues. There was no frustration, no swearing, no shouting, no, I'm sick of this. I got wow, that was so fun. It was over with. And she's like, wow, it's already done. So, so it's like one of those that went really, really well. And then the fact that, I've got 2 submissions for international. So the one I shot today was the first, and I shot a bit of the 9th episode. And then the 9th episode, her and I have been talking about for the last 3 weeks, and we've been laughing our asses off at the ideas that we've been coming up with. So tomorrow morning is going to be quite a bit of fun with that as well. So so
we need you to bring the comedy. I fear I set the tone by just making everything I put out very serious. Not much opening for the jokes. So bring it, Paul.
Cool, man.
I'm sure it'll be very memorable.
Thanks, man. Well, let's put it this way. It's been a pleasant experience. I'm so glad that it's been a fun experience, because a couple that plays together should have fun together and stay together.
So, Dr. Mindbender, with his very deluxe presentation, is an SDC exclusive, but because
Yay.
Hasbro's not bringing product to the convention, they're going to give you a code for you to then pre-order online.
Ooh,
Oh,
wow.
jeez.
I'm
It's
so
tedious.
excited to go to SDCC and get my new code. That is actually a real kick in the balls because that is one classified figure I really desire. Like of the
Well,
new releases, wow.
you'll probably be able to get him eventually. They're not going to
Just
do
without
away
all
with
the
the
accoutrement.
mold.
Yeah.
Without the very fluffy box. Because
Which
when
I
you
really
see him,
like though.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It is beautiful. But is it a playset? Are you going to use it as a diorama backing? Because all those little greeblies that he comes with only really look good when they're set into that box. Like, this is the confusion that I had at the outset. It's like they're all small parts that don't interact necessarily with each other. So if you are displaying your figures loose, you got to pick your favorites and then put the rest in the drawer, which, if you're getting a deluxe figure, I wish it came with something like a piece of furniture. This is a weird new notion that I've had, but like when thinking of Cobra Commander, for instance, I think the best potential accessory outside of his Venom Blast that you can give him isn't a scepter or a globe with a snake on it. It's a freaking
Throne.
chair. It's a
Yeah.
chair. He needs a
Give the
chair.
man a
Doesn't
throne.
even
Yeah.
give a man a throne or just a swivel chair. Like essentially, a lot of the times he was at like a console or he was
Yeah.
at a table. He wasn't always sitting in a throne. That's more of a serpentor thing, really.
Yeah.
But like Cobra Commander was in a nerve center and he had a chair. Like, give the guy a chair. He's the boss. He's gonna be able to take a seat and be in comfort, like, and give his orders, not have to stand up and address his underlings. They come in, he gives them his nefarious orders, and they leave. He's got a cool chair. Maybe it's got some like buttons on the consoles and stuff, but like on the armrests. But yeah,
But
it's so mundane, but it's so essential.
I agree with you on that. Because like of the few things that I've scratch built for my GI Joes, and I'm talking about very few things, I've at least done 2 prototypes for a chair for a modern era and vintage CC. I've actually scratch built those.
Yeah, good.
Because I feel like it's essential, right?
I used to make them out of cardboard as a child.
Nice.
Cardboard and crayon.
That's cool. It's just, yeah, it is an essential thing, and I know that we mentioned it in earlier episodes as well. Like, we were even speculating that Mindbender may have come with like the brainwave scanner or something. That would have been so cool. Just
A piece
have
of equipment
something.
that could stand on its own. Yeah, absolutely. Whereas these are beautiful little lab implements, but you don't have a lab, so you
Yeah.
kind of have to display it in package if you want that stuff to look good. Anyways, we can go round and round on this.
Yeah.
There will be limited quantities available on Hasbro Pulse, but at the same
course.
time, Emily did say they're producing 3 times as many of this figure as they did with the SDCC Zartan. So
That's good. So
the
we might even
upshot
see
of
them in
that
clearance
is,
bins.
yes, he will be available. There'll be
Yeah.
hopefully enough to meet the demand. So don't get
Because
your
I
panties
have
in
to
a
have
bunch.
Mindbender. I must have him. He's one of my avatars.
But swinging for the fences at SDCC, did you check out SuperSeven's contribution?
Actually, to be very honest, I only saw 3 pieces of it, and they start at the middle with the, long live, great snake lives forever, like that robot, and then
For
to the
those of you
right.
following along with just the audio, Super
Sorry.
7 is doing a reaction box set. So 5 POA figures that recreates the infamous scene from the Pyramids of Darkness. Is it Pyramid of Darkness? Yeah, the
Yeah,
title
it's
is
Pyramid of
singular.
Darkness. Yeah.
Pyramid of Darkness, where the snakeling versions of Snake Eyes and Shipwreck. So they've got uniforms they've stolen, and they're trying to
And Timber is
infiltrate
there.
Cobra's. Yeah, is he what? Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Timber
Look carefully
included in
by
the
Snake
set?
Eyes' hand. You can see Timber's snout.
Oh, brilliant. Anyway, so
Yeah.
then Polly must be along for the ride too, right?
Yes, I see Polly on Shipwreck's shoulder. So makes me very happy. Yeah.
Anywho,
Thank you, Matthew Comstock.
there is
All hail
a
Cobra Commander, the great snake rules forever. Or if you prefer, all hail Cobra Commander, work, the great snake rules forever. Terrible Polly.
yeah. Well, hopefully everyone knows the scene we're referring to now. There is a droid, a Cobra droid, security droid that is asking for the password in order to allow people through. So you've got Snake Eyes, Shipwreck, their pets, this droid, and then 3 kind of nondescript Cobra. They look like officers, I think. They've got silver Cobra symbols, and they've got straps across them, which makes them look like paratroopers. I don't know. What's their deal? Is that just how the animators
I
or the
recall
models
them
looked?
have. Yeah, I recall that being like a thing on that episode specifically. But I could be like, memory is a funny thing sometimes. And now that I've got this image in front of me, it could be affecting how I remember it. But the
It's a
packaging
very
is
tasty box. My
damn
goodness.
awesome, yeah.
Wow.
Because, I
It's
mean,
like
you
the
can't-
Cobra Temple, but
Yeah.
like the sort of upper battlements with the big snake head and its open mouth. And in the open mouth, you've got not Snake Eyes and Shipwreck. That's an interesting choice. They put the droid and one of the Cobra troopers, officers.
Which I think is awesome because, at least from a packaging point of view, that robot's so much bigger than the rest. Keep him in the center because it creates a nice kind of shape. You don't have like a haphazard sort of tall, window on the left side of the box or something. It's nice there in the middle. Something I just want to just quickly reach into these comments quickly. Gaz,
Squash style, right? Like that's
yes,
the background
that's a gouache.
painting.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
it
that's
looks
like the
great.
background painting in the animation in the
Of course,
in the
that's
show.
exactly what it's inspired by. It might even be a reworked background. Who knows?
Yeah.
Very
I
nice.
Well, it's good work, and I think Adam Riches, if that was painted from scratch, I think it might have been Adam Riches who did it. Not that he's like claimed it or anything, but I know that he's been doing a lot of stuff with SuperSeven. So, if it is, cool. If it's
And
not,
Hasbro.
also cool. Yes.
He did
So
Sergeant Slaughter. I'm sure there's plenty more Adam Riches stuff coming that he can't talk about.
Exactly.
How he keeps mum is anybody's guess.
yeah, shame, man. It's rough.
He's probably the most excited Joe fan who's now like on the inside that exists. To be honest,
Well, that's what you need to. I feel that's what there needs to be more of that. People who are really
Yeah.
passionate about GI Joe doing stuff in GI Joe for GI Joe. Gaz is upset because there is still no Saturn. I hear you, Gaz, and GI Gary agrees with you. He's like, darn straight, Gaz. And if GI Gary also would like to add, and there's no Honda Lou. I'm like, yeah, we do need a Honda Lou as well. Like, it's like this. I know that they're gonna come. I know that they're coming. That's one
if
thing I
this
love
set
about
is
Super 7.
anything to go by, like Primitive Darkness is definitely a priority at this point. Like we're gonna get that 3-pack of Boy George, Snake Eyes,
Hey,
and Saturn and Polly and Timber in Mufti,
And if the
or whatever you
great-
want to call it.
and if the great toy gods do hear my prayers, we may even get Cold Slither, which would make me very happy. Even in Super 7 form, it would make me very happy. I'm looking at this and I'm heavily tempted. How does one get one of those Super 7 packs? Is that an SDCC exclusive? I couldn't remember if you said so earlier.
It is, but SDCC exclusives and exclusives at all, man. You'll be able to get
Yeah.
them eventually. Yeah, I'm going to be in Singapore in September, and I'm pretty sure one of the stores that I frequent will still have the cardboard missile
Assault Command.
headquarters. Yeah. From many years back that Bobby Valla actually designed. Anywho, Super 7's also announced an alternate
Bat.
deco for their Ultimates Bat, and it's
How did I miss this?
amazing. It's inspired by the comic book
course.
appearance where the bats had the spores that gave rise to those vines that then had knockout gas. It was also the debut of the Mauler and Heavy Metal and Airtight and Bazooka and Crankcase and Ore Striker. I think Jay had maybe made an appearance before that, maybe not. Anyways, she was basically trying out the new Joes, and this was the debut of the Bats, the debut of Dr. Mindbender. It was a very toy-heavy issue. And you say, how did I miss that, Paul? Well, how did everyone miss this deco? Why is this the first time we've gotten a blue Battle Android Trooper in the cornucopia of Battle Android Trooper releases that we've gotten, particularly in the modern era of GI Joe? Why was this color scheme never used?
Yeah.
I mean, we got the spores, and we got the backpack canister that dispenses them, so that's nothing new. But like, and also just the weapons. Like, this Battle Android Trooper comes with a Heckler and Koch MP5 with a interesting looking barrel, but it looks like it's lifted straight from the pages of that artwork. I believe it was Rod Wiggum who was
Nice.
penciling GI Joe at the time, and yeah, man, it's iconic. I think there's a slightly more raised ridge to the bat helmet, which is in
Also-
line with that art as well. I could be
Also,
mistaken.
context is everything, and I don't have an image of the original release, but the head also looks slimmer. It doesn't look
Yeah.
as diamond shaped as I remember the first release being.
Well,
You know?
Rod did kind of go a little bit off model. I mean, the
Okay.
colorist obviously did as well, but the art did have that slimmer head with the ridge on the top and the very, very deep like vents along the side. So if they've got an alternate sculpt going on here, amazing.
It's got a very
Amazing.
Cylon-esque appearance.
Ah, it's
You know,
good. It's
like
good.
the original Battlestar Galactica Cylons, not new Battlestar Galactica Cylons, because they look nothing like that. And this is Trisha Helfer. Bats attack. Ooh.
New silence is sexy.
Hmm.
I'm looking at a picture of. Yes, it's a slimmer face.
Cool. Okay.
Defos,
Okay.
defos.
Yeah, I
I
had a
can-
feeling that was the case. Because
can
of the
share it.
SuperSeven figures, this is one of 3 that that I would like to have in my collection. There they are. Yeah, I see. Like, those dudes look great.
They do look great, but I think I like the slimmer head more.
I don't know. I like the slimmer head, and I think the reason I immediately like picked up on it is because I love the original head. Like that's it for me. Like that's my bet. So
Well,
But
Blue
I-
Bat is my new bat. My goodness. If I was a Super 7 collector, this would be... I'd cancel my bat pre-order. No, mind you, you can't cancel. Like, you've already paid for them, right? I don't know. How does it
not
work?
if you get them through BBTS. You can cancel them.
Right.
You know,
All right,
for all the
Paulie,
slack
I
that
think
people give BBTS, they don't lock you into anything. So, yeah.
unless you've
So-
got any toy new news that you want to get your teeth into. I mean, we're not
I
a
do, I-
news episode, not a news, what do you call outlet, but we do like to highlight things week to week that pique our interest.
I
Carry
don't
on.
have any new news because all of the new news that I have that's toy related is actually very much focused on our topic, or should I say centered on our topic? Because there were one or
Then
two.
let's
then
crack
let's
on,
roll
brother.
into that ninja roll into our topic.
Oh, here we go. I don't think I've ordered mine actually. So I'm just gonna get the obvious out of the way. The most
Okay.
unique thing that I'm seeing in O-Ring is our beloved tracksuit terrorist from Coastline Longbow. My goodness.
Oh, one.
Just like a blue bat. Why was this obvious thing not staring everyone in the face? Like, why have we never gotten this before?
I know,
He's
dude.
a balaclavaed, tracksuit wearing, disposable baddie. You can use these guys for bank heists. You can use them for terrorist actions. You can use them as just local militia
Yeah.
fighting off tanks with Molotov cocktails. It's just amazing.
You just said like you just mixed two things together now. You got this guy in a bank, and all I can think of is you remember that old light gun shooting game called Lethal Enforcers?
Yes.
And it was
my
all
goodness,
yeah.
yes. Well, then you need a whole bunch of them in different colored tracksuits to just like
Yeah.
pop up and do
Yeah.
the first-person shooter
Reload.
kind of.
Reload.
Brilliant. Lethal
Oh,
Enforcer.
man.
Wasn't that like one of those games that also in the sort of the attract mode, it had a screen that says "Don't do drugs."
Yes.
I just remember a whole
Real winners
milieu
don't do
of-
drugs. There.
Yes. Amazing. Otherwise, you get shot in the face by like a Magnum revolver. Jeez. What message are we trying to put out there? Do you have anything you'd like to say about this guy? He comes with an AK-47 with a foregrip and a very interesting looking stock. It's maybe it's not
And
an
a
AK. Maybe I'm turning
Could
my
be a
head.
Chinese AK.
The magazine doesn't have that curvature. It's a straight mag, so it's been embellished. It's something else.
It looks like, just because I can see a subtle curve there on it, it looks like it's a flip around. So like, it's a full
double
like curved
mag.
mag. Yeah, and then you flip it around to the other magazine, like to the straight one. Because
Awesome.
to tape two round ones together must be quite difficult and awkward. So I think that just makes sense to.
No.
tape a
By
straight
that I
one.
mean just like the banana clip being or magazine being the typical AK-47 like curvature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the foregrip.
whatever.
The foregrip. The only thing that worries me about this toy is actually the foregrip on that AK. Just because if the hands are gummy enough, it's going to be fine. But if they're not gummy enough, then it's going to have realistic thumb shooting action. So
I think you'll be okay, man. Like if late model O-ring figures are anything to go by, like I have been very abusive to my Cobra Nightwatch, which is I think a 2004 release, and yeah, man, those thumbs contract back to their original shape after being like having pistol grips wedged in like at right angles. So I think we're okay, and the added wrist articulation. Even better than okay. So yeah, I mean, he's balaclava. He's got a little bit of web gear, which is great because he definitely is tacking up to do something nefarious, evil. He's not just going for a run on the track, and he comes with a Molotov cocktail, which looks,
he's got a spicy beer.
if the artwork we're looking at is anything to go by, I think it might be rendered in a translucent plastic, which would make it a terrific accessory, like an accessory that you need all on its own. I mean, you need the rows and rows of this stuff.
I also don't understand why Marauder has never given us a Molotov cocktail. Or, as we like to call it in South Africa, a petrol bomb.
It's not just the bottle either. It's like a flame effect coming off the top.
Yeah, like a spicy beer there.
It's total layer of dynamism that we haven't really seen much of. Like, I'm not in favor of blast effects, but this I'll give it exception to.
Otherwise, it's just a bottle. Then it's just like it's a bar fight. Which okay, that could also be.
And if you're worried about the foregrip, mate, like you don't want to be holding a Molotov cocktail by the neck of the bottle. No, so essentially, what they're advocating by including this accessory is that you want to put the base of that bottle in a figure's hand, which is going to really stretch that thumb, put it to the test.
Let's see how Russian he is.
Hey, zing! But was this on your top 5, Paul?
It was, or it is, should I say?
Good.
It is, yeah.
I'm glad we got it out of the way first, then.
Yeah, it's definitely one of mine.
Well, let's hear another one of yours, shall we?
Cool. This is one that's recently popped up, and I'm very excited about these. It's a series called Hidden Force, and it's a bunch of ninja-styled O-rings, and they also look like they have a wrist articulation. I don't know too much about these guys yet. I don't even know how to get my hands on one to buy one yet. But Hidden Force, these guys are looking great. Like, this guy is probably the most basic ninja ever made in toys, next to like the ninja from the core. But I really dig it.
He's got a bit more going on than Jinx does.
Yeah, a little bit more. But
they both have dragons on their chests, but this guy has like a kind of a braid to his outfit, and a stash, and 2 tones to his mask, and like forearm greaves.
I also dig that he looks a lot like Joe Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah,
so that's kind of what like sold me immediately. I saw that and I was like,
And guys, please in the comments, like if we're unable to give you any kind of direction as to where to get these, it's because we don't know. With Coastline Longbow, that was a Kickstarter that came and went, but we've been promised by the guys at Rhinestone Toys that they're just getting started. Like, they're going to make this stuff available. So the tracksuited henchman, even if you didn't back the Kickstarter, it's coming, guys. It's coming.
And I think there's still a backer kit As of the time of us recording this, I think the backer kit's still going. You can still
Is a
back it.
backer
Yeah.
kit available to people that didn't back the Kickstarter though?
Yes. Well, I
Oh.
call it a backer kit, but it's actually you can still order it on the Kickstarter because it's successful. So like you can still go there and like order from them. They haven't
Great.
closed it off or anything when I checked. But maybe I don't understand Kickstarter the way I should. Maybe I missed something. But my understanding is that yeah, you can still buy the Operation Longbow stuff. The only catch is that unfortunately they don't take PayPal, which is kind of a bummer for me. Because I can't use PayPal to buy them. So I need to wait for them to come out to some kind of retail outlet like BBTS or something of that sort for me to get my hands on them.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Ryan's saving our asses in the chat, saying that the Kickstarter for the Hidden Force guys hasn't started, but will be soon. And it's
Whiskey
being
Jack
put out by
Toys.
Whiskey Jack Toys.
Those are the guys that did the Wild West dudes, didn't they? They did the
Chicken Fried Toys.
oh, is that
There's some
Chicken Fried
strange
Toys that
names
did
out
that?
there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
get
man.
yeah. There's a lot. But yeah, so this Hidden Force Shinobi, I'm very very excited about this dude. There are other ninjas in this line that are great and they have some unique designs. This one's just my favorite of all of those, and I'm very excited for this stuff. Cool, man. What's your next one?
Well, this is the biggest mystery of all. They're called Delta. What? Delta 17.
Yeah.
I don't know what these guys are about, but they've got an Instagram and they've got quite a compelling little story. For now, little is known about this new cabal and its associated army. Unofficially, they're known as in underground circles as the Dark Shadows, with an undisclosed base of operations off the coast of Japan. They're believed to be tied to various mercenary factions to assist them, and the origins and alliances of which are undergoing scrutiny by Delta 17 and the military intelligence group that is a direct support element to Delta 17. Now, the blurb is basically talking about this enigmatic enemy, which are these cybernetic ninjas. Okay, the design is what attracts me, of course, because they're very cool looking. Just the digital render alone of like the head sculpt,
Yes, that
makes me think
very nice.
that's a very unique, very clean, like very attractive looking figure. And I want to know more. Apparently, it's not a Kickstarter. Apparently, it's going to be coming soon, and we need to watch this space. But man, there's very little information on the ground. Maybe it's an initiative that hasn't gotten off the ground. But if it does, these are the guys to keep your eyes on.
Or maybe they're
Delta
doing a slow
17.
yeah, maybe they're just building up their like support by creating this lore, by getting people into it, and then when they do announce their Kickstarter, at least they've got a tribe that they can bring into their Kickstarter because, they're not as vocal as some of the other toy makers right now. They're still building their voice. It's cool to see that, man. It's cool to see like so many guys doing this. It's
Robotic
really
ninjas
exciting.
have been done before, but
Yeah.
these ones look good.
Yeah, I struggle to say no to a robotic ninja, man. That one's not on the top of my list, but I feel like as they reveal more, I'm going to be more intrigued by what they do.
I don't know when you wanted to bring it up, but I think we also are eye to eye on
Yes,
the Grindstone retro
Grindstone
figure for
retro figure.
RoboSkull. Yeah.
And I'm so sorry I couldn't find the picture that they posted on Facebook. I think it was Skeletron that posted a picture of the actual prototype, the in-hand prototype.
What?
And it looks so good.
Wow.
Like, yeah, yeah, I could
It
be
comes with a
wrong.
fabulous amount of stuff now. It started out as just a figure with a pistol, and then they unlocked a jetpack, a submachine gun or laser, if you want to call it that, and this kind
Laser.
of wicked cool, like double spike thing. A handheld weapon for stabbing, presumably, because one stab wound isn't enough. You just
You must
double
have
up.
two.
Yeah, it looks as lethal as it is for the operator as it is for the opponent. But then they also added a further unlock of like a energy saber,
Very
a
Warhammer.
trooper head,
Yeah.
a removable. The helmet is now removable, and you can have a trooper head beneath it, and then an alternate head, which is the Skeletron head, essentially just like a bone white head of a skeleton.
Yeah, it's
Fascinating.
rad. See, for me, like I don't. Okay, I have this on my list, but it's kind of like
Oh, and it's free. So
Yeah.
the figure's $25, and you get all this stuff. Unbelievable.
and that's why like this is on my list, but it's only on my list because I wanted to talk about it because I'm excited about it. But I already technically have one because of my Skeletron purchase because I bought one of these guys with my Skeletron with my RoboSkull.
Excellent.
So it's like I really want it, but now I'm super excited for its arrival. Like
Head to toe, it's an interesting design, man. Very intricate, very ornate. It's got those high collars or what are they called? Shoulder pads.
the epaulets.
Good word. But it doesn't look like cheesy sci-fi. It looks badass sci-fi, dangerous.
It's got a good mix. It's what I like about the RoboSkull stuff. I feel like RoboSkull is got that really good blend of cool and goofy, which I feel makes a good GI Joe figure. And I'm so sorry that I wasn't involved, that I couldn't lend my voice to the Operation Recall when you guys chatted about it in the last episode. But that's definitely something I wanted to bring up. Was you can see it in all of the designs that have come out on Operation Recall. There's this great blend of stuff that's cool, but also goofy to help balance it out, you know, which is a good thing. That's why GI Joe works, you know, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, so
Paulie, once again, our steward of podcasting, Ryan Sweeney, has our asses covered. He found the
thank you,
in-hand
Ryan.
images.
How cool is it, dude? Like,
Wow, painted up.
It's amazing. I'm so in love with this toy. It's what I love about a GI Joe figure. It's all there, you know. And it's not a GI Joe figure, which is just magic as well. Not that I hate GI Joe. I love GI Joe.
It does look like it would seamlessly kind of fit in.
Yes.
And I like what they did to the eyes on this figure a lot more than what Hasbro's currently doing with their O-ring relaunch.
Yeah.
I think the person who put the most succinct burn on the recent Hasbro O-ring offerings is in fact Tony from Analog Toys, who says they screwed up the eyes. These are Lego Spaceman eyes. Not so in the case of the Skeletron figure.
No.
His eyes look aggressive and very clean, but like there's a kind of it's a terrible descriptor, but it's so apt, like a derpiness to like Hasbro's Cobra Trooper, Cobra Officer. Who else have they done? I mean, just the digital renders. You can see it with Scarlet, with Ace. Like,
Yeah, they look very asleep.
Here we go. Yeah. Totally. Anyway, let's not throw shade on the big H, though we are showing love to the independents now, like, and rightly so. These are incredible offerings. Really deserve all the praise they get.
You and Rob had such a great chat about Star Brigade, and I am very
Butthurt.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, obviously, I'm sad that I couldn't make that, but I am so glad because I want to rhyme. The RoboSkull stuff integrates with the Star Brigade so well, you know. And I just, I when I saw this picture, my first thought was like, oh, cool, Star Brigade. I'm gonna have so much fun with my Star Brigade Joes and my RoboSkull dudes. It's gonna be great. Before I even touch modern era stuff, I'm gonna find a way to make those work because that works. And like the pogo, he would look cool in a pogo, you know. He's ready to kill Iron Grenadiers.
I wonder if he'd be able to get his head under that dome. Probably not with the helmet on.
Well, I'll make that a criteria for the review.
He's got plenty of space in the RoboSkull cockpit. Oh yeah,
that's true.
Okay, well let's stop gushing over that. Yeah, continue, man. You got one coming up?
I mentioned Operation Recall. This is the image I got. We haven't seen an actual figure prototype for this, but I believe it's going to be a cool toy. Something I focused on in one of my designs for Operation Recall, and that is the ninja. And I love the prosthetic leg. Okay, I did a lot of prosthetics in my design, especially for the one character being somebody who's recovering from, like, you know, being paralyzed and all that kind of stuff. and I just like the prosthetic side of it. I like that whole cyberpunky kind of vibe that comes with this figure design, and yeah, is a toy design I'm very excited to see from Total Recall, from Operation Recall. I've got a space reserved for this toy in my collection. I want and you know,
While Alexander Merle could not have been alive to hear this sketch back in the day, all I can think of when I hear the name Shh is Mike Myers in Austin Powers as Dr. Evil and telling his son Scott, "I've got a big bag of Shh with your name on it." You know, shh, shh. Do you remember that? Oh,
yeah,
man. It's really dating me.
www.sh.com.
Did that too? Yeah, he
Yeah.
did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, and I'm going to cheat a little bit with Operation Recall quickly, but another toy I'm very excited from in the Operation Recall line, because technically my Skeletron was a bit of a sneaky, is, I nearly called it Bloatfly. Sorry. But the Damselfly. I think that is I like that toy design quite a lot. I like the masked female character with the jetpack and the blue gear. And also just a shout out to Ted Terranova, dude. You did a cool design here. Really love it. And I mean, this is not to downplay the others, but also, if I could only take like 1 or 2 figures from Operation Recall, it would be Shh and Damselfly. But guys, we all know it's Paul
She's got
speaking.
a cute butt in Ted's art.
Yeah, she totally does. But do you see how like there's a bit of that goofiness in her design? Like that jetpack, it makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, it also doesn't. It's kind of fun and goofy.
Goofiness in the creator's smile. He's like,
yeah, and I love it.
Awesome.
No, Ted, like you knocked this one
Nailed
out
it
of the
too.
park.
Well done.
Yeah, I think I really dig this, and I love the stylization that he's put into his drawing, and I feel like that's going to come into action figure form really well. I really hope that when they sculpt it, they don't try to make it too realistic. So
I wonder. I haven't asked Ted if this was something he was aware as he was designing this, or if it's something that like commentators later on have pointed out, that there's a Micronauts vibe to her flying backpack. You know, the wings that swing out with fans on the edges, very much like Takara's Microman.
I didn't pick up on that at all.
Did you ever have the Akroya figure?
Sadly not. No.
Oh, boo. Shame.
Yeah,
Sucks.
Micronauts and Microman
Paul.
were from another universe for me. I never got my hands on them except for like a Batman set.
Well, it's kind of predates us a bit. That was late 70s toy, man. That was
Okay.
metal stuff from Japan. What? If you didn't have a big brother or big sister, maybe, you missed out, Paul.
Yeah.
I did. I got a little taste.
So did
Okay.
I.
Now, in the same breath, it seems like it might even be the same mold, but I adore it. And everything that it's now slated to come with is Ghost from
Yes.
Rhinestone Toys. Cheap is the Steel Web Infiltrator, who is a named character because they've done a Steel Web Trooper, which kind of does the Viper, but in
love the
purple.
purple.
Very attractive. But
Yeah.
this guy is the one that gets my attention. He was initially just coming with the Skeletron-esque submachine gun and the double stabby thing. Well, they did an upgrade, an unlockable, thanks to the campaign success, a free unlock, which gives you a backpack, 2 gravity mines, I think the creators said. I think Troy said that they somehow, I don't know, they hover or they attach to walls or something. Like that's the vibe that they give off. And they're also attached to the backpack, obviously, on either side. And
Fun
a
play value.
clear or sort of opaque plastic shield, like an energy
Kind of
shield.
beam resistant energy shield, yeah.
Oh,
The
rad.
slow
So
blade
rad.
penetrates the shield. Sorry.
No, is that a Dune reference?
Yeah.
Have you seen SuperSeven's Dune reaction figures?
I haven't. As
Now,
you mentioned
these I'm
earlier
on
in the
board
episode.
with because
Yo.
because they were always for POA. Well, plus heads. So 5 POA, except in the case of the Harkonnen Sardaukar trooper. But like, they take me back, man. To have those guys in 3/3/4 inch scale, that excites me a great deal. Because
I
my hands know those original toys well. My brother had
Oh,
a
that's
full
cool,
set.
man.
Mm.
I'm actually a little jealous of that. That's really cool, man.
They were either
I
LJN or Galoob. I can't
I
remember
think
now.
it's Galoob who did those.
No, really? I'm gonna say
Yeah.
LJN.
Oh, cool.
Like
Listen, you
Thundercats,
probably.
because they all had thumb levers. So like they had punchy
Oh
action.
crap. Yes,
Even
actually,
Baron Harkonnen,
yes.
he like his arms would go.
But then I'm thinking Galoob because Galoob made Bionic 6, right? So
No,
if I'm
also
not.
LJN. You're thinking Galoob because you're thinking of the A Team, I think.
Yes, it could be that. Yeah, I think that's what it
Mm.
is. Yeah.
Also
Okay, cool.
8-inch scale, I think, close to
Mm.
that, or maybe 6-inch. I don't know. I don't have them to hand, but they were bigger boys than our beloved scale. I used to use Paul Atreides in my Metal Gear Solid-esque games as just some guy that Snake had an interaction with before he gave a monologue and dies. One of my earliest play motions. Now that's never going to see the light
Snake.
of day because it's terrible. It's so bad. It's filmed on like the bathroom floor, and in one shot you actually see like the whole toilet. Terrible.
Shy allude. Allude. Let's not go there. Oh god. That's
But
yeah.
what makes the ghost figure such a delicious grape flavor is the fact that they've successfully worked in like a midnight blue onto a figure that is predominantly purple, and it doesn't look ugly.
Yeah, it steps down. It's like a nice in between the purple and the
Oh,
black.
doesn't
Yeah.
it do great things to your eyes? These complementary colors. The face stop is
Yes, it
amazing,
does.
and what really just pushes this over the edge and gives it the chef's kiss is the fact that you've got this very, very liberal, not liberal, what's the word? Very restrained use of neon
Yeah.
green.
Exactly. That is
Oh.
the piece de resistance.
The
It's
energy
like
glow, like at the base of his gauntlets,
mm,
the eyes, and of course the symbol, which I think I said to Troy when I spoke to him, like, that is an instant classic. That steel web symbol. It's a
yeah.
black widow spider, but the abdomen is a skull, and it's set into a red triangle. Well, on this, it's just the main character of the design, the spider, picked out in that beautiful
It's a
lime
great
green,
silhouette.
neon green.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's so sharp. It's so pointy. It's so fine. It really is a testimony to like printing technology of the 2020s, because I don't know if something that small could be accurately like printed onto a figure
I
back in
don't
the
know
80s.
about with the tempo, yeah, back in the day. I know with like decals you could get like stuff that detailed, but I know with the tempo printing machines, I don't think they could do that. Or do it
This
as
guy's
well.
he's gonna be factory produced, and he's gonna be clean. So I'm very excited for that.
I'm very
That's an
excited for him
amazing looking
too.
figure.
He didn't make my list, but that's also only because he is kind of a purple version of the RoboSkull dude of the wolf trooper. I keep forgetting his name.
And
But
you've chosen which one your favorite is, because obviously it goes with the RoboSkull. But like just taken as a figure on its own, oh man, how do you decide? Is it
right,
Ghost or is it,
like
what are we calling this guy? Skeletron?
yeah,
Are
I'm
we
just gonna
calling
call him
him
the Skeletron. Yeah, like
the O-ring Skeletron?
the
Yeah.
O-ring Skeletron. That's I think he has got a better name, but we'll just go with that one for now and let the comments sort us out later.
Well, get both and do a comparative review is all I'm saying.
So this figure comes from a company, and actually from something that kind of went under my radar a little. It's the Scorched Earth project, but it's this line here. It's Strike Force Alpha. What is the name of this Kickstarter again? No, man, I had it. It was in my mind, and it just like slipped out now because I was like so excited about. See, but that's this. It's just this like sneaky little thing. But yeah, it's Strike Force Alpha is the name of this
Zika
O-ring line.
toys?
Could be secret. There we go. Yeah,
Is it?
and I really like this Hell God. He's clad in black. He's also got a helmet. It's got a bit of a Crimson Guard elite kind of look to him that I really dig. I'm very sorry that this went under my radar because I would have loved to have, pimped these guys out a bit more, as we sort of, when they were actually doing their Kickstarter. Um, but I'm quite excited about this toy, and I really like the sort of tooling that's going into them. I don't have any images right now, just because I just wanted to focus on the toy. But I think it's also Bill Merklin who designed these as well with this team, and
Wow.
they are very cool looking toys. I feel like it's a great new enemy force to add to GI Joe Play Motion or just to my 3/4 inch toys. And I just loved it. He probably sounds like that's behind the mask or something, Just looks like a lot of fun. And I'm kind of torn between, if I had to choose one from this, I'm kind of torn between him and this dude, who is so like, I love that he has 4 arms. Okay, like I don't know what it is about a 3/4 inch figure that has 4 arms that like blows me away. But this guy does it, and he does it better than the Mortal Kombat Goro that Hasbro did way back in the day. And I just love that. It's like a unique sculpt. He's got some cool play features. The removable wrists for the bottom arms. Actually, it looks like all
And
of
the
his
top
4 arms are
arms.
removable.
Yeah, you can have
This
him
look-
completely tooled up with like stuff on his wrist. It's because these guys are troopers. They're troop builders. So the option parts provide instant variation.
and
Brilliant.
and I mean, what
It's
I'm gonna
not
say
Zika
here,
toys, by the way. This is something else.
yeah, I must. I've got a link. I've got all of the links, and we'll put them into the well, when we put the video up, we'll put the links in the description below. Um, I will say this, and it might sound a little controversial. I don't care much for the lore that they have created. And maybe, I don't know if that's their fault or my fault that I'm not interested enough to look it up. I just really love these toys and I love the designs, and I think they're going to fit into what I want to do with my toys and how I want to play with my toys. And that's exciting for me. And I kind of like the idea, like the fact that the lore isn't sort of imposing itself on me, you know? Like,
Though this is a very Cobra Law bent. It
yeah, very
reminds
much
me of a
so.
line that Serpentor says in Cobrathon in that episode I spoke of. And the guys on
Yeah.
Audible Interlude, bless them, they actually pointed this out as well as like the goat. I mean, this is the best line from the show. By the serpent gods of the netherworld. And then he goes on to say, how do you expect me to raise $5 billion or whatever the total was for the Cobrathon? Anyway, yeah, good line. This guy's definitely he's in line to be a serpent god of the netherworld, brought back to life.
This is like, it's goofy as hell. It's unusual. It sticks out as a unique piece because it's not like a military man, and I like that as well. I think that's something that is maybe like I've noticed with both of our selections, we haven't gone into a military slant. A lot of our stuff has been very like sci-fi techno, but then again, you haven't submitted your final one yet, so don't want to say
Well,
anything
there's
too
a reason
soon.
for that, Paul. I think, and this is why, like the showpiece of Grindstone toys being Lancer is bittersweet for me because I do have a Falcon, and he's entrenched with years of canonic uh, characterization, both personal and in Joe media. So I
Uh-huh.
don't need another beret wearing do-gooder.
Yeah,
I think I speak for us both when I say like it's the flippy dippy new concepts that get our attention.
yeah, give
And
yourself a
some
kill.
obvious ones like the terrorist, the tracksuit
Yeah.
terrorist, just things that are absolutely fresh, which it has taken a fan initiative to see the need for, you know. Like Hasbro were running down a hill with GI Joe and very much were of their bent. Well, now it's the opportunity for the independents to fill in these needs. But in order to do that, they need to make the bread and butter figures like Lancer to get us integrated, get us on board, have our good guys to go with our bad guys. But for me, like the high points will be these freaky deaky guys. And you're not going to get more freaky deaky than my most anticipated figure of the O-Ring milieu. and his
And
name
that
is.
is?
I'm looking for the picture.
Drum roll, please, ladies and gentlemen. Cool. I'm
No,
gonna
Paul,
junk.
you don't get to go next.
I just want to
'Cause
jump
after
in with
that
some comments.
Oh, okay.
Ryan Sweeney said, Carson said that the jetpack, and I imagine this is for Damselfly. Carson said that the jetpack will have a working wing feature, so you can push the button and the wings will retract or open. That
What?
makes me so happy because they did it with retaliation. Retaliation. Snake Eyes. Was it retaliation? Yes. No.
No, that
Yes.
was Resolute Snake Eyes with the
Resolute
wingsuit.
Snake Eyes. Thank you.
But they also did it with Skydive from POC.
Yeah. Oh, I love that because that was also good.
Of course
Yeah.
you do. You loved it so much, you bought it for me, but made me pay for it.
Did I?
Bastard.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I thought,
yeah.
which
You,
one
you
did I?
surprised me.
Oh shit, dude. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I did that. My bad. That's silly.
Yeah, I think you'd ordered a lot of Joes, and I'd asked for a snow serpent. You got me snow serpent and skydive because you were like, Steve's gonna like this guy. I'm like, yeah, I like this guy. Thanks for that, Paul.
Not with my money. Matthew Comstock is like more like a discount Iron Grenadier, and I think he's referring to the to this bad boy, to the Hell God. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matthew. But yeah, like I do get that vibe, and that's also okay. Actually, like it's also okay that if that is about this Hell God, I'm okay with him being a discount Iron Grenadier because I still like Destro being a sort of premium, badass, weapons
You need
dealer.
variation to
Yeah.
the Iron Grenadiers. Like having them all look the same. Nah, man. Like Cobra's got all these various different Vipers and stuff. Like this guy, if he fits into the Iron Grenadiers, it's like kind of a Iron Grenadier major or even a colonel. That works. I mean, he's got this roping around his shoulder pauldron, like
Yeah.
and the double-breasted buttons down the one side. Like he's looking very zhuzh. Kind of
And
what
then
you
also-
need to add variety.
And Gaz commented on this construct troopers. He
The
commented
snake dude with 4 arms.
Snake dude with 4 arms. Looks like Mindbender was on an overnight mad scientist bender again. Yep, Mindbender just cranked the ABBA up to 11 and got drunk on schnapps, and he made this bad boy. Yeah.
Now,
And-
I'm not gonna leave this one on the floor. Like this wasn't one of my top 5, but we should mention, and this has been on a number of people's lips, but Zika Toys Riot Commando, also
Oh
charcoal
shit, this
gray
is the one I forgot about.
with red. He
Oh, I love
could
this.
be an Iron Grenadier, or he could just be this kind of steampunk-ish disaster trooper, like in a far-flung future.
I love
That's a-
how
Cool figure.
Third Reich this looks.
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Nazi women of the SS, or what was it, Iron Sky, when the Nazis retreat to the moon base?
Yes, I love that movie. Oh, it is so cool. But yes,
It's
exactly
pretty-
that, and
pretty rad.
Wolfenstein as well. Also, like,
Yeah.
sort of has these guys that look a bit like this. Yeah, man, Eagle Force was the one. I was like, I had like such a brain fart. I was like trying to Google like, what is that other O-ring line, and I couldn't find it. And I found Strike Force, but I never found Eagle Force. Or
Well,
Riot
they're
Force, Eagle
available
Force.
currently from the website for $20 dues.
Fantastic.
I think it's just a figure and one gun, but if you're jonesing for some new stuff, it sure beats paying eBay prices for the actual vintage Joe.
So here's the thing.
Is there a thing? Tell me.
There is a thing. There is a thing. So with this topic and with, and also over the last few months, we've been seeing these fantastic Kickstarters coming out for O-ring figures, and they've been funded and they're happening. And as somebody mentioned here in the comments, I think the Delta 17, Ryan Sweeney said, you can get them on BBTS soon, if not right now, for Delta 17. So we've got that. These toys are already finding their ways into retailers and things like that. So now I've been finding myself quite torn over the last, I'd say 2-3 months, because I'm buying some of the GI Joe stuff, And the classified toys are gorgeous. I'm sure many of you guys who listen to this agree with me, and that they just really are stunning toys. But my heart is in 3 3/4 inch figures, and I feel like the classifieds are kind of like more of a cherry picking thing for me. Like, wow, I really do want a Lady J at that scale because she looks gorgeous, and the same thing for a Baroness. And the same with the upcoming Crocmaster, or the Crocmaster that's already sitting in some of our BBTS private warehouse, pile of loot, whatever's to ship, or maybe you've already got your Crocmaster. Those are some like my cherry picks, my premier, like, wow, I really love that. I would love to have that scale of that character in my collection. But I actually want to shift a lot more of my toy funding to toys that I'm going to really enjoy playing with more, that we can use for things like play motion. I mean, the idea of seeing all of these cool villains and everything else just gets me thinking of play motion episodes where we don't have to have GI Joe versus Cobra. We can have Cobra versus these other factions. We can,
Steel
I've
web.
been, yeah, exactly. Ever since getting the RoboSkull, I've been thinking, how would we like integrate RoboSkull into the Joverse?
Got the RoboSkull?
Well,
Do
not
you
in
have
my
the prototype?
no, I wish, man. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm like,
Yes,
wow.
I don't wish. I wouldn't want
I
the
made
pressure
this-
of having that. That's the one of the kind. They made one, I believe.
Yeah, don't drop
It's
it.
done the
you know?
rounds, but yeah, cheapers.
So my thinking is like going forward with all of this love for the O-ring stuff, I really am going to start focusing a lot more of my attention and effort into the O-ring retro style O-ring toys, because they are bringing me joy. They are getting me excited. They are getting me fired up. That's what I want in a toy purchase. That doesn't mean I'm not going to buy classifieds. It just means that I'm going to scale down quite significantly on my scope, or I'm going to become more laser focused with what I do get from classified. As I mentioned, Crocmaster is sitting in my pile of loot as well. So I can't wait to ship him over, but I just have to wait for the timing. It's just a timing thing with shipping and whatever's. But yeah, and also even that SuperSeven pack, that gets me more excited than I thought it would. Because I would play those. I'd put those into shots.
Well, the
Like-
thing about the SuperSeven is the 5 POA guys have an awkward fit in Joe, because Joe is covered in rivets and screw holes, and like these guys are very clean, very cartoon. They feel like mannequins when placed next to an O-ring Joe, which is more geared towards action, whereas these guys are geared towards cartoon accuracy and looking retro in that very stiff posture. But then you look at the other stuff that SuperSeven is producing for the reaction line, like maybe the vehicles, but certainly this robot. And you're like, absolutely. I don't
Yes.
care if it's completely statuesque, if it has no articulation at all. It's a Cobra baddie that exists in this world, in this fantasy, that we've never
Yeah.
gotten before. It has a taller
Yep.
stature than the regular guy standing next to it. It has a funky animated design to it. It has a big cobra symbol on its chest as this kind of main sort of color pop scheme. So it's so unique, and yeah, absolutely, that could find its way into even the most diehard O-ring collector's displays. Definitely.
And I love that. Thank you, SuperSeven. Because
lovely.
I know that we have thrown some shade at SuperSeven with certain choices because of pricing and things like that. But I do feel they have some gems that pop up, like this box set that gets me excited. And you know what?
Hey man,
I will pay.
they've got a license to produce this stuff, so they're doing
Yeah.
what all the independents, I suppose, in some respects, can only dream of doing.
Yeah.
And so they are going ham. I mean, yeah, it's one of the most exciting, like, actual Joe product available at the moment, because we don't know what they could be pulling out of their sleeves next. Glow in the dark Cobra Troopers? Why the hell not?
Hey,
you
SuperSeven
seen
does
that?
glow in the dark. Yeah,
Yeah, they're doing
that's what
Joes
they do.
and Cobras, like glow in the dark blue and glow in the dark green, random.
I mean, they've
Anyways,
just done a range of glow in the dark Ninja Turtles now. So
Paul, it's time. It's time.
time
for our number
time,
one
t- t-
picks.
t- t- Time
Have you already given yours?
for what? For my?
Have you given your number one pick, the O-ring figure that you're most excited about?
I haven't, but let's put it this way: I have shown it
okay.
in our chat. it's just, and I have sort of alluded to me cheating with that because it is the one I'm the most excited about. But if I had to tell you which one it is out of the guys here that I haven't been able to buy yet, um, my absolute top pick is got to, and like, despite everything that we've said about blah blah blah, sci-fi and all this good stuff, this fine gentleman over here present to you the Russian with the spicy beer. That is probably my most anticipated O-ring release right now.
Jeez, doubling back. Damn, sorry,
Yeah.
I stole your thunder right out the gate.
No, it's cool, man. It was
And
worth talking about in the beginning.
surprise everyone by saying that my most anticipated figure, the one that I'm most excited about, and the one that certainly is getting my attention, man, I surprised myself with this selection, but it comes from Operation Recall, and it's Sun Eagle, Soul Eagle, a
Oh,
luchador
yes, he's so
soldier.
great.
Oh
He's
my
really
goodness.
great. He nearly made my list as well. I was just like, yeah.
Jeepers, dude. Why
This
does
is
this figure scream my name? I think it's got to do with the fact that, like, submitted by David Emanuele Martinez, it is a callback to the Cable, like, Marvel, like, X-Force, GI Joe Extreme, all the mid-90s art style of, like, big guys with big muscles and big guns, impossible kind of weapon systems. It's a callback to that era, and that is an era that GI Joe squarely missed out on. And I do not count the GI Joe Extreme toys because they were a joke. They were. It's been bandied about that they were probably like an ex Kenner, or it was a Kenner employee's like joke. I'm gonna torpedo the GI Joe line. I'm gonna finally put the nail in the coffin by making these atrociously pre-posed, highly inarticulated figures. Whereas the original GI Joe construction would have been so much more fun, better for GI Joe Extreme, and it has unearthed the need in me that I didn't know I have to have these beefy, burly, like extreme era of GI Joe guys in the 3 3/4 inch scale with that standard articulation. Oh, the fun we could have with those designs. You know, GI Joe Extreme might have many sins, but it's still a pretty semi-decent cartoon series, and the designs ain't half bad if you are a fan of that era. And the wheel has come around again, man. Like, that era of comic book and cartoon has its nostalgia, has its pundits. I'm one of them. And this figure is the first time we're going to be able to get that flavor in an O-ring style. He's thick, man. And if his weapon systems can be pulled off like this picture, wow. It's like a minigun.
And I think they can be. It's
on
like
the bottom of like
gun.
a... Well, no, it's got elements of that. But the main thrust of it seems to be this blocky... I think it might be a multiple missile launcher, but it basically looks like a big old boxing glove, like a fist, an extra fist that goes over his fist and is, you know, it's missiles, or is it energy weapons? It's definitely got a minigun on the bottom, so I'm sold already. Like, miniguns is just the most fun.
Somebody with it.
And then just to top it off, a cool like double pistol, because you know in those first-person shooters, sometimes you have to resort to that lame gun that's assigned to number 1 on the number pad.
Yeah, your survival weapon, the
one that has unlimited ammo. Yep.
This
so good.
This design for me wins on so many levels because, and I know for some people this is a swear word, but I think it's important. It's got some great representation, which I love about it. You know, and we also got a wrestler from a different style of wrestling. So we got a luchador, which I feel
the mask looks badass. Jeez,
it looks so badass. You know, like Sun Eagle. Like, I love it. And the whole thing with this is
I can't wait to see a color study.
How did Hasbro miss this? Like, how did Hasbro miss out on doing a luchador style GI Joe character in the 80s and early 90s? Like, that's my question. How did they miss this? Because this is so obvious that this deserves to be in this line. Like, in a line where there's so many crazy things, why do we not have a cool giant mad looking luchador? Well, now we do. And thank you very much, David Emanuele Martinez, because this guy is an awesome design. Also straddles that line between being cool and goofy. I get like this strong road pig cross rock and roll feeling from it, which I really love. Listen, if it isn't already obvious
It's
to
all
everybody on the
extreme
podcast,
for me. It's
yeah,
all like 90s animated rock, like because all those episodes had a music interlude where they stripped
yeah.
out all the. Yeah, totally. That's all I'm hearing when I see this figure. You know?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. One of
I think
the
everyone heard that.
one of
My
the one of
family
the
included.
one of the new tracks in for International Backyard, and I actually still have to send this to you, Steve, and I'm just busy mastering it because it's a wall of sound right now. But it's got a bit of a like a speed metally sound to it. So I'm very excited to see how that plays when you
Well,
hear it.
it's Soul Eagle's new theme tune, and I can't wait to get my hands on this figure. Oh man! Well, look, actually, I just caught myself out. I am gonna try and stop saying the phrase "I can't wait"
I caught
because
myself too.
well, it's tedious, guys. Because of course there is a wait time attached to a lot of these projects, and
Yeah.
if you keep saying "I can't wait" every time one of these pops up, well, I don't know how you living, pal, because you're going to be waiting a lot. Yeah, so that's me. I can wait. I'm happy to wait, but when the wait is over, boy oh boy, am I going to be over the moon.
I'm
Jeepers.
incredibly excited for this stuff.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say something now, and this was a kind of a knee-jerk reaction, but then Carlson actually released the images on the Kickstarter, and I actually had a chance to sit down and really appreciate the designs because, every time that I've seen the designs, I've seen some quick stuff from the sort of because I did manage to catch his live stream from Joe Fest, which was very fortuitous. And Matthew Comstock, thank you so much for linking me on that. It's Matt that got hold of me. And I'm so glad he did because I got to see it. It was a bit nerve wracking
So
for
you
me because
saw
I
the
was.
moment where Alexander Murrell got called up, yeah?
Yes. So I saw like a lot of that stuff happening. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so I saw some of the pictures and I saw some of the designs that were coming there. And the one that like immediately stood out to me that I was like super excited about initially was Great White. It's that giant diver with the shark themed kind of diving suit, which I haven't seen any pictures of. And that's why I didn't want to include it in this because I feel like it's not a concrete release yet. It's still in the next wave of recall. But now, anyway, looking at a lot of the recall stuff, my knee-jerk reaction was like, wow, they really are playing a lot of these designs quite safe. And that might sound like an insult, but it's actually not. You see, they're not as safe as they first appear. When you actually get into the brass tacks and you get into the real nitty-gritty of it, you see characters like this Sol Guerrero,
Soul Eagle?
well, no, Soul Eagle, but like
I've
Soul
done that
Eagle
myself.
Guerrero, but and you see like what actually makes him special, and you see what makes Damselfly special, and you see what makes special, and that got me very excited. Like that changed my opinion on everything, especially when I got to sit down and really look at these images again and really appreciate the design that's going into it. You know, like even this dude, this dog handler Breacher, which when I saw a flash of from Carson's like preview video to say, oh, we got like so many submissions. I love the silhouette of this. I was like, wow, this looks like an interesting character. Like even this is an interesting character. So I think it goes without saying that I will be making an effort to get all of the Operation Recall toys for myself. It's not just, it's not, I don't want to say it like it's not just, actually, it's a case of I really like the designs and I like that I get to support this awesome endeavor. That's like a bonus. The fact that I can support this is a bonus, but the real treat is that the toys are great. And this is why the classified thing has kind of been like a major wrestling match in my brain. And maybe why I was a little bit like, sour towards the his tank because I'm like, small 3/4 inch toys. Actually,
Well, call to
Yeah.
action time, guys. The HISS tank is fully funded and all the stretch goals are unlocked. If you're in, you've done it, guys. Congratulations. I don't know if Hasbro are in the habit of announcing more stretch goals. We are in uncharted territory. Nothing from HasLab has ever funded this quickly, and now they're just watching the timer tick down and don't have anything additional to show. Maybe there's a mad scramble. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're rewriting the book as we speak, the playbook on these kind of situations. But with the independence, the temptation is to keep adding stuff, provided they can actually, produce it in the allotted time on the back end. And we saw that with the RoboSkull. Those guys were absolutely just blasting downhill. Like, as things unlocked, they were quickly spitballing. Like, I suppose everything that they announced was something they spoke about, but the reality of actually achieving those unlocks was a pipe dream at best. Anyways, the Operation Recall, as of recording this podcast, still has 22 days to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you're considering throwing your support behind this, well, maybe this will push you over the edge. The first 4 figures are funded, they're locked in. The next, I think, 2 are already locked in as well.
Yeah.
But the ceiling on this is determined by us. Not only are the first 16 figures on the table as potential unlocks, plus 2 additional figures, the Rotello and a bonus 18th. We don't know what it is. Very exciting. But Carson has said that this goes as deep as we want it to go. A Series 2 is absolutely on the cards. So if you want to see more figures, it really just, it's up to us at this stage. They've done absolutely everything they can possibly do. Like, how much we pledge determines how many of these get made, determines how many new O-ring designs get put out into this world. It's an exciting time. So yes, that is the pitch. If you got some dollars to spare, it can cost as little as $30. Or if you don't want a reward, as little as whatever you're prepared to give.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah,
for the
to
full
get a
set,
carded figure at this day and age, a new carded figure for $30, I don't think that's a big ask.
No, I agree. And I think he's got some great bundle specials as well there, bundle deals on the Kickstarter as well. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And all in, I think, for 400 and something or other.
Yeah, that's all in. But there's a lot. I think the all in is quite a lot. I think 110 US gets you
for
the 4
the
figures.
first 4. Yeah.
The first wave, yeah.
But 210 gets you wave 1 and 2. 8 figures. Hey.
Yeah. So this is why, for example, I am
470 gets you the
cutting
18
out
figures.
Yeah. Well, all 18. That's not bad, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really not
$470
bad.
divided by 18. I don't know. Math wasn't my strong suit,
But
but
where to ship
it
it
works
to?
out slightly cheaper, and that's a shit ton of figures, all carded. What? You're
Yep.
gonna be having a bit of a Sophie's choice. Like, do I take these guys off the card
I'm
or
taking
display them
off
on the
card.
card? Yeah, of course. I kind of wish that there was an uncarded option, but I guess if you want to repackage our nostalgia, giving us a carded figure to open at home is
Actually, maybe we
part
should
of the deal.
maybe we should cast in a message and actually go, hey, could we do a loose card and bubble version? Like a loose card and bag version, so you can have a pristine card and the figure in a bag.
I think I've heard an interview question along the same lines, and he's like, "Nah,
Okay.
nah, that's up to you, man. That the packages are what they are. The artwork,
But then
it's
again,
the full. You're paying $30 per figure for the full experience.
of course,
Like,
yeah.
card art is part of Operation Recall. That is a classic GI
Yeah,
Joe.
exactly. And that's why I want the card
Hasbro
art. That's why I don't
employee.
want to ruin it by tearing the bubble off it,
Don't
But then
tear.
again,
Use a blade.
yeah, but you get what I'm saying. But then again, it's that whole Japanese thing of impermanence, and there's beauty in things that aren't permanent. And then there's also the other side of, well, Carson does a really great job of documenting all of this stuff, and we can be pretty sure that they're going to release posters and prints and an art book with all of that artwork in anyway. And maybe even like a lot of the unreleased designs as well. So, yeah.
Ryan's got us with the numbers. If you go all in, it works out to $26.11 a figure. That's a pretty decent savings spread over 18 figures. Yeah, definitely. And like with all the variances in these designs and the amount of love that is going into each individual figure, it works out to a pretty sweet deal, I'd say. Like, I don't have the Tom to throw at going all in, but you know, I am going to cherry pick, but there's definitely sense in that. Like each individual figure is nothing short of a miracle to me. The fact that it's gone through so many hands, the fact that these guys are still around and able to produce this kind of work, like each one is to be celebrated.
Yeah, very much so.
I think that's the note that I'm going to leave episode 258 on. Like, yeah, seeing O-rings again and knowing how hard it is to get this process going, these are all miracles. And are all meant to be celebrated. And yeah, absolutely. Wahoo!
And speaking of exciting times and cool toys and things like that, have you gotten any new toys in the last 2 weeks? Since we last spoke?
No, I kind of have dropped off in terms of the buying. I mean, Kim and I have a very expensive global trip coming up. So the times is tight. But I saw, going for a song on eBay, a Silver Mirage motorcycle front glass. And I happen to have an extra Silver Mirage that needed one, so bought that. It's very satisfying completing incomplete vehicles. I think it's one of my favorite things, like a toy that just doesn't feel right until it's got its parts, you know? Even if it's functional, it's missing that one thing. You don't pick it up, you don't play with it because it's incomplete. And now
it's
it is.
a crazy thing that like it's crazy how like a broken tab or something can totally take away the majesty of something, you know, of a GI Joe toy, like, and make it feel like it's somehow completely crippled, you know? Like it's horrible. Maybe a horrible way to say that, but it does feel like that.
But once you've got that part replaced, repaired, or a new part, like it's like getting a new toy, because suddenly this thing is finding its way into your hands. I'm messing with it right now, and like it's nothing short of a miracle that these 3 Silver Mirages that I pieced together basically from like parts are all okay. The sidecars are another story, but the bikes themselves are all unbroken. Like the suspension is still unbroken in all of them. Like I was listening to Audible Interlude, once again, another plug for that show. Dave picked up a Silver Mirage at Joe Fest, and he was like, I don't know why the back wheel's like sagging. It's kind of like rubbing up against the housing at the back of the bike. And I was screaming at my radio at that point. I was like, yeah, it's because the suspension arm is broken inside. That's why it's going. That wheel is going to be rubbing up against the inside of the bike chassis until you open her up and either use a paper clip or something to reinstate that suspension. But all 3 of my current Silver Mirages have unbroken suspension. I'm like, this is unprecedented. Why did I get these parts so cheaply? Like this is gold, man. This is not a commonly found intact part. Anyway, lucky me. How about you, Paul?
Lucky
Any new
you.
stuff?
I do have, and sadly, I can't find the picture to show everybody. But it is.
So all that clicking that you did while I was monologuing was for nothing.
Was for nothing. I'm sorry, but it is a He-Bug arrival. I managed to get my hands on Wave 9 from a local supplier. I don't have the deluxe figures yet. The deluxe figures being Leech and Snoutspout, which I'm very excited about. But this set did come with some interesting stuff, like what's his? I wanted to call him Mantikill, but that Mantikill is the name of something. Oh god, my brain is so fried right now. I'll get to him. So it's got the 2000 series He-Man and Skeletor in that set, which, take them or leave them. I really like the Skeletor from that line. It's very, very cool. Or from that wave. I think he's a pretty cool looking Skeletor. It's mostly Keldor's parts anyway. But yeah, he's a cool looking Skeletor. And then they've got like a character called Pighead, which is like this neon yellow piggy type character, which is from the Sunman sort of knockoff subset that happened back in the day. Or not even a knockoff, it was like a weird series that they did, which was like He-Man body sculpts and things. He's fun to have. It was quite cool to see Celia quite excited about that figure. She was like, wow, this guy's actually kind of cool. And then Manteno is the name that I was looking for earlier, with his eye-popping action. And that is, for me, the star of the wave.
Everyone had that guy.
Yeah, man, he was just so cool. I love he's got like an eye-popping action, and now instead of having 2 legs with like 4 legs, it's like 4 legs but molded as 2 legs. Now he's actually got 4 individual legs, each with like their own articulation, and he's super fun.
That's not a detail I remember from the original. I need to go back and look at that figure.
Yeah, the original doesn't have. If you look carefully, he's got like 2 feet. On the original, it's like per leg. Each leg has like 2 feet to it. So
they're side by side. They're kind of like, they look really thick when you look at him from the front.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I can picture it.
Awesome. It looks like he's wearing like pantaloons. But yeah, so that was nice. I got a Heberg drop from a local dealer because he actually brings in cases. And I did my pre-purchase for it a while back, so I was very excited when they came in. And then now I'm just waiting for Leech and Snoutspout. Or not really waiting. I did manage to get them on BBTS, so they're sitting in my pile of loot. And I'm super excited for Snoutspout.
Yawn. That's all the Heberg talk I can.
That's enough, but that's all the Heberg stuff that's going to go down here today. I know that fellow Heberg fan, MCDJ ACDC, is also excited about some of this stuff, so that's why I like to bring it in here. So,
no, look, you've got your followers, that's for sure. People love that line. MC, Bob, I think of Cody, who plays with his daughter. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's Cody's fault that I'm into this line as much as I am, because I mentioned a passing interest in wanting an Origin Skeletor and He-Man. I was like, yes, I want those, and then I'll put the brakes on collecting them. And then Cody's like, I heard you want some, and he's like, and then he sent it, and I got it in a box full of stuff from Bart, that because he sent it to Bart, and I was just like, oh my god, these toys are actually so much fun. And then they appeared on shelves here in South Africa, and I couldn't help myself. It's just like, oh my, it's in the episodes, but I was like, I can buy this shit on shelves. Great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, without further ado, let's point our toes to the door, gentlemen. Thanks to the Berg Force keeping us alive and lively in the chats. If you want to join our Patreon, the link is in the description below. These fine gentlemen and ladies keep our lights burning. No, I can't say that, can I? They keep us smiling and keep us in new toys. Their contributions help make the show. So
yes, you do.
If you'd like to support us, you don't have to. We're going to bring it for free anyway, but if you'd like to support us, check out the Patreon and you might get some freebies. Hey,
yes, like exciting. Cool music and like early access to the podcast and being part of part of our Discord and being one of our live audience members, which
there you go.
I've got to say that's like one of my favorite things about the podcast is getting people's comments and their jokes and the weird memes that kind of fire off from it, and you can be part of some of those inside jokes a little bit, So yeah, it's great. It's like we've got a cool bunch of people that we do the stuff
and
with.
If you'd like to get hold of the show, arealsouthafricanhero@gmail.com or anywhere with social, drop into the DMs. But always, the comment section on the YouTube section is something that gets my attention as soon as this podcast goes live on old YT. If you've got something you'd like to say to us, even if you have been listening to the audio, chuck a comment on the YouTube version. Podcast players are tricky in terms of navigating where the comments ultimately wind up. I always miss that stuff, but I do not miss the YouTube comments. So yes, that's the place to go. That is effectively our forum for every individual episode. But my name's Steve.
And my name is Paul.
And we've been GI Joburg. The return of the O-ring. Forgive me, man. I just love talking a little too much. That's why I
Oh,
need these week-to-week sessions to just
That's why we have a podcast.
verbal diarrhea splatter all over your ears. Lovely.
Bleh.
And on that disgusting note, yo, Joe.
Burn.